All right, Jack. So I want to mention this as is super unrelated to everything we're talking about.
All right.
So the other YouTuber I was mentioning how we have to say our goodbyes to
Mm-hmm.
for the time being is Mr. Metaker. Now, by that silence, you're trying to remember who he is. Quite simply, it was the channel that made that We Was Kangs video.
Oh.
And the one I showed you about the hamster ramture.
What?
And that's where I also learned about super gonorrhea. Yeah, so unfortunately, Mr. Medeker's channel, he has privated all his videos
Oh.
because recently
Mm-hmm.
he had two videos flagged uh flagged, and he got two strikes on his channel.
Oh.
The two videos that were flagged were his We Was Kangs videos,
Mm-hmm.
and for some reason his like a minute long video of the game Ukulele, where he dubbed John Tron's original voice in the game before his whole controversy.
Stupid. That's dumb.
Yep, and so because of that, and because Jim, as he's called,
Mm-hmm.
he no longer is like, you know what? F it. I'm not gonna deal with the YouTube nonsense. He has privated all his videos so that no one can flag him again, and decided to pretty much move all his content to BitChute.com.
Huh.
And just to get you an idea of how like on thin ice he is,
Mm-hmm.
this is the same type of situation of so this is the same type of situation that made Alex Jones and his entire um, Infowars studio move from YouTube to BitChute. That's how bad it got for him.
Damn.
hmm So, so unfortunately, Jack, if you want to see that's right,
That's
that's
right.
right. You want to see that? You're gonna have to find someone who mirror that video. Uh, yeah, yep.
I peaked
And
my
with
mic
and with
on that
that's
one.
that's fine. I'll edit that. And with that, folks, welcome to the Hack Jack Show, Episode 9. I am the genuinely beautiful and forgetful Hack.
Definitely forgetful. And I am the noble and loyal Jack.
And tonight, well, as we're recording at this night, we have a good multitude of of little stories we want to share and as well give our input to. To start off, we got some real meats here today, but we got some nice appetizers to go through. So to start off, with the I guess more news everyone's probably aware of by now is that it's been official that Spider-Man will no longer be a part of the MCU. However, the the actors and characters will still be the same. So Tom Holland will still be playing Spider-Man. He's just no longer doing it for Marvel Studios. He's now doing it for Sony. So now, so and now it comes to the facts that as of now, you're still gonna get your current iteration of Spider-Man. He has a much higher probability that he would cross over with Venom. I think that's actually a genuine plan at the moment. And as well, um, most likely is gonna be weird from here on out, as because of the separation, or I'm sorry, not the separation, the closure of the deal between Marvel and Sony. n- Um, no MCU thing can even be remotely, as far as I'm aware, remotely mentioned in the Spider-Man movies to come.
All right, now here I have a few questions.
Hmm.
So, okay, the first one is: will the next Spider-Man movie count as the third Spider-Man for the trilogy, or no?
It will count as the third one in the new Home trilogy.
Dang it,
So,
Tobey Maguire. I wanted to keep him with the only one that had the three movies.
no, 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 and as well, there also will be another Spider Verse movie, so that one will probably gain its own trilogy as well,
Now,
if they if they don't bond a second one.
ooh, nice. Now, here's my second question.
That's your second
All right,
question.
so why did okay? So there was a lot of things where Tom Holland's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. No, because he went with the most pettiest thing and like unfollowed Sony and Twitter. So I was thinking to myself, so he's still like I was wondering if he was still gonna be the Spider-Man because of that whole thing where he's just like having the version of Sony right now.
No, he's gonna act how he's gonna act, and but contractually he's still gonna be playing Spider-Man for the time being. There is no, as far as right now, there is no mention or even a hint of any type of recast.
If there is, then Tobey Maguire's safe. He's safe with me.
Yeah, yes. Well, more with me because I actually love the movies. You just love the
No, I
memes.
do love the movies.
Ah, I got you to say
Shut up.
it. Oh, and also, I also like to mention little fun fact.
hmm
Want to know how old Tom Holland is?
25.
Nope, you're off by a little bit. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. He I am as old as he is.
22?
Yes. Now add a few months, he will be 23.
Oh.
So yeah. So that shook me when I realized that this little white pansy Brit is as old as me, and I'm thinking to myself, either he has some heavy amounts of makeup on, or he has bad baby
No, he has
face.
bad baby face. That's all it is. That's just a baby face, my dude.
I know, but at that age, jeez, man. Well,
He's
it helped him get the role of a lifetime, so I can't fault him for
he's
that.
never gonna stop. He's never gonna have to stop showing his ID for alcohol.
Oh, just like I wonder if he had any type of John Mulaney stories. You know, like how the one where he kept calling a video store,
hmm
and and the employee in the video store thought that an Asian woman kept calling the store even though it was him as a kid. It's a funny joke. So yeah, so for Tom Holland fans, he's still gonna be Spidey. As for the how the movies are gonna be up till now, we'll have to wait and see. So with that news done, another quick one I want to mention is that I believe the 2 days ago, as of this recording, Dave Chappelle, famed for the Chappelle Show, has released his newest Netflix special entitled "Sticks and Stones." Now, Jack, I wanted to let you know that of course I'm a fan of Dave's comedy, and of course everyone in our, at least in our generation, has at least seen one clip of the Chappelle Show.
Yep.
Now, Dave's previous special, which I've seen previously, had me a bit worried in that he was going to essentially neuter his comedy to appease those that find his sense of humor offensive. I was afraid that he was gonna kowtow into that, especially because he got a lot of heat from the trans community. And by trans community, I'm pretty sure it's the weird trans people on Twitter. I'm pretty
Oh
sure that's what
no.
it translates to. However, Dave Chappelle, being the type of person who doesn't give a flying, the rest, he makes a special and pretty much was like, you know what, F it, I am not going to do any of that. I'm going to do the jokes how I want them, and I don't care if you're offended or not. And because of that, he, as Dave predicted within his own special, waves of hit pieces come after and saying how offensive and how terribly not funny Dave Chappelle's new special is, and get out of here with that. I kid you not. Tired as I was last night from work, just that I had a good number of laughs at last night when I watched it. It was funny, and I'm talking about the type of funny where it just comes at you out of nowhere. And the best part, and the best part is that within this special, he is living proof that you can absolutely make fun of anything and anyone you want, and people will still will most common sensible people, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
will still find you funny regardless, because he makes fun of everyone. He makes fun of trans people. He makes fun of gays. He makes fun of lesbians. He makes fun of poor white people. He makes fun of politicians. The whole shebang. No one is out of Dave Chappelle's reticle. If this was he was a FPS shooter,
Mm-hmm.
he would already be using his nuke reward 3 times before the end of the match. So I encourage everyone, and Jack included, to whenever he has that free time, or if you have the free time or you're doing something monotonous, listen or watch his newest special, Sticks and Stones. It is hilarious.
I'll watch it right now.
No, not right now. No,
But
not right now.
so that reminds me of something. So like specifically how making fun of yourself and making fun of everyone. Recently, as you noticed, I've been playing a lot more League, and the reason why is because I've been talking with an old friend again, and he pretty much invited me to his like new little group. And one of his friends, he is pretty much close to an SJW, to where he will try to stick up for the minority and stuff, and say like whatever words you say, he's just gonna be like, you can't say that. So of course, my friend being how he is, he didn't really tell them my race or anything, because like, why would you? That's not a topic you're gonna find out eventually. You'll find it out eventually, I guess. And one time I said something which was a racial slur for Hispanics, and for those people that are tuning in and don't know, I am Hispanic. I am a Mexican American. So I said the racial slur. Of course, I can't say it here because of maybe potentially we could get monetization one day, or if we do get deranked somehow, we won't be able to be in the algorithm, so you can't find us. But I said it, and he fell right into my trap and said, "You can't say that. That's offensive to all those Mexicans." And I just pulled the biggest reverse card, the biggest Uno reverse card on him, and said, "Well, joke's on you, because I am the minority. I am Mexican. Not lying here." And ever since then, he actually can't say anything against me. So like, I literally just told my friend that whenever he wants to, if he wants to say the S word for Mexican, for like the Mexican slur, go ahead, because I give him that pass.
Dang, I was hoping it was the other Mexican slur. The one that actually sounds funny.
There's 3 that I told him he can use.
Please tell me one of them was Beaner.
Now 4.
Yes. Achievement unlocked. Found hidden slur.
I forgot about that one, to be honest. I forgot that was a slur.
Yeah, yeah. I only remember it because it's out of all the racial slurs to steal. I forgot which comedian's joke. It's like one of the laziest, right next to Chinaman.
And to be fair, like, I don't know, that word doesn't really sound like I'm scared of saying it constantly because it's YouTube and how YouTube is with the algorithm. So we might have been lost on the algorithm thanks to you on that one. But
Now, not unless I censor it.
but okay, you can do that. So for everyone else, it's a mystery, but for us, but
I'm sure they'll get it through context clues if they pass some grade school. That
I just
is.
remembered that that was always like everyone said that in middle school, and I never thought of it as a racial slur.
In middle school, by the time I reached middle school, I heard everything, from all the bad words to all the racial slurs.
Oh yeah, the time when everyone thought it was edgy to be saying the F word.
I think I think it's because of that is the reason why I don't really have it in my normal vocabulary unless I'm either quoting something or using it for comedic effect.
Yeah, I don't use it as often as I did during middle school, I guess, or high school. Mostly because it's like, why use it? It's gonna lose its meaning.
Yep. In fact, did you know that I have tried to look up the origins of the F word? Have you tried done that before?
I looked up the origins of dude.
Well, for the origins of the F word, I tried looking it up, and there's actually no solid origin of that word.
Huh.
It's a word that's been around, but the closest I got to what could have possibly been what have been originally used for, and I could be inaccurate in this, was that originally the word was a it not it was a not a pseudonym. It was a four-letter word that in each letter
Acronym?
there you go. Thank you. It was an acronym, and I believe the acronym could have been was called Fornication Under Current King. And this goes to and I think this goes to this old policy in that if someone wanted to have a baby, they need to have permission from the king. And so, if you did, you will write down FUCK in your home, showing that you have express permission to make a baby.
I have. You should censor this, by the way. I have permission from the king.
Now, like I said, it's most likely inaccurate, but that's what I remember as being a possible origin of the
You
word.
know, I can't beat yours on this one, but I'm gonna mention it anyways. So the apparently the origin of dude came from it was either like it was from like aristocrats or Englishmen where they said that to people that were pretty much hipsters. That was the synonym for it. So for them, dude was another word for hipster.
And besides surfer dudes, don't and besides surfer bros, don't hipsters use dude as well?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
not a hipster. Let's ask. Let's ask.
No, no. She's not a hipster. She's just a woman.
She's just a woman.
Yeah. Any case, moving on. So, all right. So one last thing. We're gonna go back to Marvel for just a brief moment. Then we'll go on to our more um, the discussion-based stories. So one last thing I want to mention is that that as of now, it has been announced of certain Marvel characters getting shows for the MCU on Disney's new streaming service, Disney Plus,
Oh yeah.
and two characters um, have have been and the two characters that have been announced are of some concern, especially if you're a person who actually reads comics, or at the very least know what's going, are aware of the current conditions of comics. The two characters being Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, and America Chavez. Now, Miss Marvel, I kinda understand. She may not be a favorite to many long-term readers, but she certainly does have her own audience. I can see that. However, it's hard not to see it as the people at Marvel Studios wanting to make a unique story, unique story with a character, and seen as just more virtual signaling. Because I don't know if you know about this, Jack, but Miss Marvel,
Hmm.
one of her uh, primary primary character traits is that she's Muslim.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that before.
hmm And her other character traits are, and that's it. So,
Wait, wait, did you say anything?
nope,
Okay.
that was that was the joke.
Sorry, it's because I thought it was Discord again.
No, no, no. So, failed joke aside, Miss Marvel, she is a character who kind of had potential, but ultimately was squandered because all her stories just revolve around her identity as a Muslim living in America. And as a character herself, she's honestly not that interesting. You want to know what's the most interesting thing about her?
What's the most interesting thing?
When she's not going to school, doing and hanging with friends, and doing superhero stuff, she writes fan fiction
Oh god, she's a Tumblr. She's a Tumblr user.
of eh, she writes fan fiction of Marvel superheroes, which so pretty much she writes fan fiction of the heroes of her world.
Oh, that's cringy.
hmm and that's been established since issue 1.
Why?
Uh, because girls needed a positive female role model in Marvel, I guess.
They should have done what they did with Wonder Woman. Pretty much like.
But well, and now and also the other character I mentioned, America Chavez,
Hmm.
much lesser known
You're correct on that.
and not as popular. But here's her defining character trait. Want to know hers?
Alright, tell me, hit me.
She's a Latina lesbian.
Please keep going. Please.
That that's it.
Please.
Oh, and technically she's not even Latina. She's an alien that identifies as Latina.
Okay, go back.
So yeah, oops. She was marketed as like Marvel's first Latina lesbian superhero, and she's not even really Latina.
That's a big oof. That's kind of
Yep.
sad.
And I've seen some of her comics. Pretty much all it is poor is pretty much poor attempts of trying to be like Steven Universe, but in Marvel, in the sense of the type of weird alien shenanigans they go through, and the type of cast that it
Even
has.
then, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. It's gonna trigger a lot of people. They're probably not gonna be even listening about this, but Steven Universe is garbage. It's garbage. Pure garbage.
Now, how can you say something so controversial yet so brave?
It's garbage because I'm a black trans man with a wig.
So okay, so now what I've just now, unfortunately, both characters, their comics ultimately range from mediocre to garbage, and as well, one little factoid about Miss Marvel that I always like to pinpoint
Mm-hmm.
was that during the Second Civil War in Marvel Comics,
Mm-hmm.
she assisted Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers. She assisted her in capturing capturing superheroes who might break the law. They didn't actually commit a crime, but there was a chance that they could have, and she helped Captain Marvel put them in
You
prisons.
know, it's kind of like how it's like. Do you see Cyanide and Happiness?
No.
No. Okay, so here's one little skit they did, and it's an animated thing. It's like a little animated short thing, and this is like a reference to Batman. There's a guy, a superhero, on the top of a building. Lightning strikes, and you know what you see? You see the disguise that looks very, very similar to a Klansman, and like someone they then like put a spotlight, and he goes and the spotlight has a cross that I think it was burning, a burning cross. That's the spotlight. He goes over and he starts telling the chief of police. Just kind of says, you know, there's a little bit of problem that we've been seeing. Like what? What's wrong? Well, you see, pulls down a giant billboard and says, like all the people he caught were black people. They weren't even doing any sort of like crimes. And the guy's like, so don't you kind of see there's a pattern here? Like, well, I see they're all evil. They're all evildoers and crime. Like, but some of them haven't even done anything. I could see it in their eyes.
Yep, and going and in Miss Marvel's case, and because of this action, not only after the event's over,
Mm-hmm.
during the events, she also accidentally paralyzed her best friend.
Whoops.
Yep, and after the event was over, it was brushed off as if nothing happened.
Hey, you just like stopped me from experiencing something I'll never experience again. But it's
Oh
okay.
no, he got his legs back and is never mentioned again.
There should have been the best way, and of course it's cliche because there's a lot of a lot of stories that have done this. Was even if it's cliche, just do it. The whole struggle of the best friend hating her and her trying to find a way to fix it, type of thing, like that type of dynamic. That would have been somewhat
Hmm.
interesting.
And as well, for a character who's rooted in her religion, her that concept is not explored, and it's not explored much at all. There's no like type of conflict within her beliefs and whatever situation that she's in, unlike that other superheroes go through. So pretty much, Miss Marvel and American Chavez, they pretty much are just t- uh, professional Tumblr comics from Marvel. Heck, in America Chavez's case, she even they even went she even did something that I find was unforgivable, in which in one reality,
Mm-hmm.
uh she stole Captain America's spotlight by being the first person to punch Hitler.
What? Why?
She, y- because because I'm Latina and proud, and you have to respect me, Mister Captain America.
He was
Respect
he
me.
was in a way tortured to be like to be prepared for this.
No, 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 no. It's our turn, okay? You white folks had your turn. It's our turn now. And so she went back in time, and pretty much that very first issue of Captain America, nope, she did it. Now, of course, this is whatever Marvel universe whatever universe that actually happens. But still, though, the fact that the writer, which is his own story, by the way, of what the writer they chose to write her, decides to be like, you know what, this historic moment in Marvel, I'm just gonna change it because we need to represent Latina women who are lesbians.
And this is the biggest problem I have, which is just make your own thing. Like, stop changing something that's already there. If you really
Yep,
think, if you really think that that the LGBTQ or whatever other thing you have is so special, then put that creativity to use. Don't just go off stealing someone else's ideas.
yep. And I mentioned all of this, and just to cut this short because I'm going a bit long.
Mm-hmm.
These characters, these trash characters, barely that are not even 10 years old, are getting their own TV shows,
Ew.
and they're going to be part of the MCU.
I hope they die.
Yeah, so meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that these two are going to get the big spotlight before other superheroes such as let's see, Nova, such as the Squadron Supreme, which pretty much Marvel's version of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
Before let's see, before Power Pack, which would have been a fine kid show, is literally just a team of kid superheroes. So they're wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get it before. Ooh, freaking. They get a TV show before they've even any version of Ghost Rider.
That sucks.
Yeah, and I'm only playing these very lesser known characters to show that there's tons of history to go back. And right now, pretty, and now pretty much they're gonna know those 80 years of characters. And obviously, say the big one for the movies, sure, why not? But for the second tier and third tier, uh, nah, we'll skip those. We're gonna use the current ones, that all the people really love. And by people, I mean no one, and by love, I mean no one loves.
I want my Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider back.
Oh, my skull's on fire. I can always remember that
My
line.
skull's on fire.
And as well, the trailer for the second movie where he pisses fire.
Yeah.
That was such amazing. Well, so yeah, we're gonna get some cool characters in the new Marvels, but as well you're gonna get some goofy ones. I hope people who are gonna stay around for the MCU, hope you enjoy, um, hope you enjoy it while it lasts before it gets ultimately ruined. With that over, we're gonna toss comics aside, and we're now gonna go into gaming. And today we got two big news in regards to gaming. And we're gonna go with the first one, which involves Riot Games, and they're involved in yet another class action lawsuit. Luckily, it has been settled, but wait till you hear what the lawsuit is about. Take it away, Jack.
Alright, so first of all, some of you have already noticed that. Why are we even talking about this? Because this is actually a very, very old lawsuit that happened. But as we said before in many of our previous conversations about class action lawsuits, they take a while, a big while. So on this one, the class action lawsuit was actually about complications in the workplace. Specifically, some of the female employees have been uh, talking about how they've been harassed and discriminated inside the workplace. Now, usually, most of the times we'll be like kind of skeptical on these things because just about the Me Too movement, we just don't know what's right or not. But this one's already shown here what has happened. So, let's talk about firstly, there has been reports that there was crotch grabbing. So, literally, actually, crotch grabbing. So that is a very major offense. A who's hot list, like a list of all the female employees in Riot Games, ranked from the hottest to the least hottest. And I know this one's HAC's favorite one, Phantom Humping.
In other words, air humping. In other words, moving your crotch back and forth. In other words, what's with the terminology here? But
Phantom Humping.
phantom humping. And of course, one thing also, and also unsolicited dick pics.
That too, which is also very disgusting. First of all, guys, just another JAC announcement. Don't just send dick pics when no one wants them.
No one's gonna be impressed unless you're like that one Mexican guy who literally can't impress you with his member. You know?
Ricardo.
No. This is a real story.
Oh, really?
A Mexican man is recorded having the longest member in the world.
Oh no, that's just freaky.
It is, but unless you have that claim to fame, you have no reason to be sharing your junk.
But anyways, like as we said, guys, we just need to realize our junk is not really nice to look at. It's really not as nice as like the female breasts. Though, like that one looks nice. Even women admit it. Everyone admits that the women's chest area looks nice.
It has been proven by science too.
The men's lower part does not look nice. It just looks weird.
As God intended.
But yeah. There's my JAC announcement.
And and now, and because of these following actions by certain male employees within Riot Games, a lawsuit was then filed against Riot Games by a group of mostly female employees who demanded changes be done to the company's culture. And right here, as I reading on the Fox business article, that that the game developer has decided to settle the lawsuit, and while we don't know each specific circumstances of what the settlement was, we do know for sure that Riot will indeed be having a change in company policy and as well how to conduct their company culture from here on in. Now, I want to say, Jack, I did recall hearing this news many months ago, back when the female employees did a protest outside the offices, although not just female employees, but just 150 employees, mostly female. And and at the time, I didn't have much about it. I just doing like, oh, well, looks like Riot's going through some troubles, and it ain't their balancing issues. And so I didn't pay no mind. Now we come to now. So the question is this then, Jack. I want to ask
Hmm.
you, with being clear, at least at least uh, an agreement between both parties that such unprofessional and improper actions did took place. Do you believe that this settlement will be for the better? Will be for the better for Riot Games down the line, or do you foresee something different?
To be fair, for me, when it comes to Riot Games, because first of all, Riot Game, I'm only making one freaking game, League of Legends, but yeah, um, I can't really tell how it would affect Riot Games' current game, League of Legends. For me, I would say there would be no real ill effect. I think it's good that they're making this sort of boundary because usually I am a person that's just like, oh, it's just a lot of he said, she said, and there's no proof. But obviously, there is proof on this one. I mean, no one wants to see someone's junk. No one wants to find out that there's a email thread about them where some guy will say, "Oh yes, I would sleep with her, but she's the type that I would sleep with and not call anymore." Those type of things are very very rude and unprofessional, and helping out the employees learn some professionalism will prevent some further backlash. But I have heard that they're making things like extra departments where it comes to like equality. I'm not sure if I'm correct on this, if I'm mistaking it from a different company, but I know a lot of companies have been doing this. For me personally, it's a bit much because I know as we discussed this before the pre-recording, it hit me on the head when people were saying like, "Oh, we need an equality department or a diversity department," and you agreed because you know it's true. Isn't this really just an HR department? This is just a human resources department. Human resources are there to where you can tell them I'm being harassed or there's something unfair that's happening in my current situation with the ex-employee. We need something to happen about this. So in reality, I'm very mixed feelings, but for what happened, it is justice. That's all I can really think about.
Actually, this topic actually reminds me of something I've once watched. It was a video, and it's related to this. It's related to this matter. Um, I want to ask Jack, are you familiar with well-known and infamous psychologist known as psychologist Dr. Jordan Peterson?
No.
All right, so he's he is okay. So obviously he is a psychologist, and actually pretty recently he's had a big influx of popularity over the past 2 years, and this all and his popularity mostly on YouTube has had was all started from when he voiced out that he did not support a bill in Canadian law. Since he's Canadian, that would fine people for not using correct pronouns, as he would defend that that is a restriction of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, his popularity soared, and many people came to know of him, and he has been on a few popular podcasts such as the Joe Rogan Show
Mm-hmm.
and H3H3. Now, I only bring him up because he had an interview once, I forget with who, in which he was asked, what steps should be taken to decrease this type of sexual harassment and deviancy within the workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Now, his usual response is he when he's asking pretty much a loaded question like that,
Mm-hmm.
he's often earnest in saying, he said, I don't really know, but I can give you some facts to think about. And one thing that's one thing he always said that always stuck to my mind was that, let me ask you this, Jack, and I believe I may have already told you
Mm-hmm.
this. Do you know what the purpose of lipstick is supposed to do for women?
Oh yeah, you told me about this before.
Right. So for the audience, well, what the little fact I told Jack was that when that lipstick and makeup in general is meant to is meant to simulate what the human body uh how the human body pumps blood flow during sexual intercourse. And lipstick is one way to kind of show off the redness during said action. Now, he mentioned this because then he says, because then he says for that type of look and also the type of clothing that a woman may wear is it he goes, you one could argue, because he always likes to take this from all perspectives, that could be incitement of sexual harassment. But of course, you don't want to restrict a person's ability to wear whatever they want,
Mm-hmm.
because something might happen rather than something will happen. And so it goes to the question of, when it comes back into this, that good on Riot for trying to improve the company, but my question is, what exactly are they going to do? Because it's very it's very it's noble to want to improve their to improve what's going on within their
Mm-hmm.
companies. But how much of the employees' agency and ability to work within the company is going to be tarnished because of new policies regarding manners of sexual harassment or harassment in general?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm wondering. And that's why I'm not particularly too uh not particularly too, I guess was he not happy, but um too positive about this, because I want to see what this results in. I would love to see that because of this lawsuit, and that Riot makes a genuine change to improve the culture, that things turn out better for them. And I also want to notice, you know, after this, are there going to be then new complaints of maybe that people are too afraid or too scared to really express themselves in any manner? Think
And
about like
like
this.
that's the problem with most of these companies, especially around this time, this era of like this political climate, as some people say. Whenever they fix something, like how, for example, with Riot Games, with this whole lawsuit, they might end up going very extreme on their policies to where it just starts going into stopping speech in general, like no free speech. So, like, let me give you an example. So this happened in it wasn't. It's not like this is an example of how speech can be. It's situational. Speech itself, words, especially in English, are situational. You have to know the context. If not, that it might be mistaken for something else. So I told this before to HAC, probably, but might have forgotten. So let me give you an example of how extremism and censorship can actually lead to someone getting punished for no good reason. This is just an example, and it's not really there to support anything else. So I'm playing here Rainbow Six Siege, alright? Now in Rainbow Six Siege, they had this whole, they still have it, it's the implementation where they censor pretty much any of your words that are derogatory or slurs. And if you, at first it used to be censored, now it's banned. If you say the N word in the game, like in chat, like type it in and then press enter, you're banned for however long that the game tells you. I think the first time I got banned was 30 minutes. Now you might think, oh, he said a racial slur, and that's why he got banned. Good on him. Like, that's what he deserves. Here's the problem. So first of all, some people got around this by purposely making, they're trying to troll people by purposely putting out riddles inside the chat. Someone said this. Alright, so what rhymes with tink and is a weakness in the armor? Do you get it right there, HAC? Do you know what the answer could be?
I did. I did. I'm just listening along. Go
So-
on, because I heard of this story before.
So yeah, he knows what it is. I probably can't say it because if I do say it, again, out of context, it will make me look bad. So I typed it in chat, because even though I fully knew that maybe they were trying to bait me into something, but I at first thought there's no possible way this could be a slur of any sorts. So I typed it in, press enter, and then 5 seconds later, I got banned for saying the word. Even though in the English language, that word can either be a racial slur or literally another word for a weakness in the armor. So again, this is just an example of putting, like calling anything that's hate speech or anything like that, and having extreme censorship can actually harm the person rather than do any good.
And I would also like to add that this type of situation that Jack has explained also happens on YouTube. On the YouTubers I follow, on their on YouTube streams, it was widely known that whenever YouTube is streaming and if they have and it's available, you can donate money to them with a message. It has gotten to the point that YouTube is censoring out even common words which probably don't mean anything on their own. For example, Jack, you want to know a word that if you even type it out in Super Chat while watching a stream, that will get it automatically censored or you banned? You want to know a word?
Alright, tell me, which one?
Jew.
Jew?
Jew.
You know, that reminds me, that actually happened in Battlefield 1, I think. I think it was in Battlefield 1, where you couldn't say a certain word, and it was, I think, Jew as well.
You can't say the word Jew. You definitely can't. You definitely cannot say the African country Niger. You can't say what else. This is the last example. And you can't even say the word fig, like a fig Newton. Now, obviously, there is like a little, double meaning to the words. However, it's to highlight the point that maybe someone actually found a fig tree and they type the word fig, all of a sudden they don't see the word or they get banned. Or maybe someone's legitimately Nigerian and they say I'm from Niger, boom, censored and or banned. So now, going back to Riot. The best thing that they could do so that they don't get new problems in returns to expression of employees and of the employees' own free speech is that the only thing they can really do is enforce stricter stricter penalties, at least from how I see it. Enforce stricter penalties if it can be found that an employee has done any type of sexual harassment or doing sexually implicit activities while in the work or in the company building. Because I wish most of the articles that JAC shared with me, they never mentioned how much of the staff were doing this. It could be all of them. It could have been just 3 people. And I think what Riot has to be careful with is that they don't try to listen. How do I put this? Make new policies that either are going to be misused or be too malleable to the point that you can follow the new policies, but at the same time break the new policies. And unfortunately, unless they're gonna make a public statement about it, well, unless you work there, we're never gonna know what they're gonna change. And to kind of actually, before I say, do you have any final thoughts on this matter, JAC?
Well, this is more of like a thing where, alright, so for people that are working in companies like this, yes, as we said before, we might not know if it's like a big percentage of the people that were sexually harassing others, or it could have been like 3 guys. We gotta keep in mind, you are working for a company, a very professional company at that, in the sense of some people might not think that game companies are professional, but inside the office, they're as professional as any other company. So, you need to be respectful of others and respectful of those that you work around. Don't be breaking any boundaries with people if you know that they're not comfortable with it. And also, if the company will, I kind of feel sorry for whoever is under fire in that company, because as soon as you give bad press to the actual company name, you are really, really in thin ice. Like, not even thin ice, you just broke the ice there. You're probably going to get fired. So please, be careful what you do in your companies, in your workplace, because you might just get worse than just a slap on the wrist. You might just lose your job.
And the last thing I want to say here before we move on, to quote the Dr. Peterson that I've mentioned before, one of the before in the interview that I mentioned, one of the last things he said in regards to this similar matter was when someone asked him, should women and men be separated in the workforce? You know what was his response?
What was it?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'll
and like,
I'll end it at that. Now,
oh wait, 1 second. I have a question.
mm-hmm.
So,
What's your question?
with the whole lipstick thing,
Mm-hmm.
what about different hues of lipstick? Like, there's obviously tan colored ones, black colored lipstick, and all the other shades in the color wheel. What about those?
The same idea. It's the same idea. It's just using different. It's just using different colors. The the scientific concept of why lipstick will be worn doesn't change because of the color. It's the action of it.
I would be scared of anyone that would think blue lipstick is very, very attractive then.
Well, well, you wanna know who else uses very dark colors as lipsticks? Well, obviously, no one other than. Forget this segue. I think it was too far fetched one. Anyways, guys, let's to move on to a lighter topic because we have another big one on the way. But to quickly mention this is that as Jack introduced me before recording, that Telltale quote unquote games is going to be revived, and guess what? They're gonna come back and do the same shtick but better, like they did before.
Quote unquote better.
Mm-hmm. And this news comes from Polygon, and that the believe the owner, well, the people who now own Telltale Games, one of them named Jamie Otili. I'm gonna call him Otili, or actually no, Ottilie. Ottilie's probably his name. He says that that not only are they going to get back their old catalog of games, just as like The Wolf Among Us and Batman, but that they're also going to be looking for new licenses to make new games. Such and so and so that like and as well of this one quote he says to what he says in the actual article. He says this in regards to what the future of adventure games, like similar to the ones that Telltale makes. He says, "This is a viable business that went away due to market conditions and some scale choices Telltale's previous management made." He said, "I like games that tell stories, and I think our industry should have a company that specializes in narrative-driven games." He then goes on. He then continues on to say that we'll probably keep the concept of episodes, but with different pacing. This is a different world from a media consumption standpoint. We need to look at how people like to entertain themselves. I like the idea of binge watching. So pretty much, this all resorts down to the new owners of Telltale. Pretty much them saying, we're gonna do what we previously done, but this time we will make sure that you get everything on time and earlier, unlike before. So what's really changed? Nothing.
Yep.
No. Heck, even reading this article, there's not even talks of improving their freaking game engine or even changing it to something that's not as delayed and
all the cell shading
underperforming. I'll be genuinely surprised if they make a new game that does not have cell shading graphics.
Pretty much.
like imagine
actually animated then.
and now I do the only thing I do really miss from them is all the fail states of their games.
Uh,
For you is the Minecraft ones. For me is all the Batman ones.
no,
I love.
I like some of this one YouTuber where he just pretty much let everyone stay T-posed in the Batman one. So you just like literally see Batman running at people like as if some child's holding him by the legs and clotheslining them because he couldn't properly punch.
I like the one where I saw where Batman literally does not in the moment you're supposed to catch Catwoman when she's
Hmm.
falling, he doesn't, and all you just see is just Batman looking at Catwoman falling, and then you have to replay the scenario again. Like and just to go a quick little thing. Then there's the flaw of their game design. They like to express of how much choices and freedom you have in controlling the narrative, but really you don't. And trust me, I'm not gonna go far into it because there's plenty of other YouTubers and videos out there that go on to even showing their little design tree of how Telltale games work. So if they truly want to win back their audiences and be a respectable company, they gotta improve. They gotta either improve their engine or just use something else. Have some variety in at least in the way their games are presented. Stop focusing on licensed material, and lastly, just actually give players more narrative freedom in the games.
God dang it, make your own games for once, please.
Yes, it's not that hard to make a story where where if a certain character dies, the story continues. You know what games do? You know what games do that?
Fire Emblem?
Fire Emblem, believe Skyrim to an extent.
Fallout?
Uh, Fallout. Let's see what else. What else? What else? Um, does Mass Effect do that?
I think so, but it's been a while since I played it. I'm the type of person that never really tries to kill an NPC.
Hmm. Have you at least slapped one?
No.
He never tried to go full on renegade in which like you see like what was his name again? Main character. What was his name again?
Oh, Shepard?
You never seen ones where you see Shepard just backhand slapping an old woman? That's
No,
hilarious.
it's because like I was playing Mass Effect 2 and that was the time when I got it for very, very cheap. Like even though it was like,
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
pretty much the second
That's right.
disc
I remember.
broke and I couldn't do anything. So all I was stuck doing was probing Uranus.
Oh, dang it! You sell it just to sell that joke, did you?
Yeah, even the ship is like, really, sir?
All right, so yeah, well, good luck to Telltales. I will not be there when their next game arrives. And with that said, now we come to our second big thing that I'm gonna be taking the lead in. So, for those not in the know, several months ago, a well-known YouTuber by the name of Projared was was accused and as well was accused of and has been revealed that he has been doing some heinous actions in his own and behind the scenes of his videos and his personal life. Now, oops. Now because of this, and now because of this, he has definitely been hit hard as far as his YouTube career is. I believe before the controversies happened, he was sitting at around I think 2 million
No, he
subs.
was sitting. He barely hit the 1 million mark. He was like
Oh, he did.
1.1 million.
Thank you for correction. Right now, and as of now, he has standing in around 811,000, and And that's only as of what I'm looking at now. It was much lower before he released a new video in which he pretty much brings to light everything that he has been accused of. So, before I go into anything, this is he released a 42 and a half minute video detailing everything of what he has been accused of and and the little rumors and speculations people had. So, to summarize his long video, these are the important bits. Number 1, did he have a not private, I forget if he said it was Tumblr or
Yeah, it was
Reddit.
Tumblr.
Did he had a Tumblr in which people would share news with each other? Yes, he did. And he had this for at least 3 years, at least since 2016. And because of this, he will often he often did his best to make sure that whoever came on was over the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of him not only approving, and which also his and then ex-wife allowed, but also being participant of, two people who have the same names of Charlie came about to accuse him that he specifically and selectively wanted to see these two people's um, nude pictures of them, even though they were minors. Fact. It. The fact of the matter is, number 1, for the first Charlie, which will be the UK one, when he did approach Projared within a DM about sending these photos, Projared did ask this person, are you over the age of 18?
Mm-hmm.
The supposed minor said yes. And in the video, Projared also brings about that there might be a reasonable doubt that the first Charlie is a compulsive liar, as reportedly during the time in which he was participating in Projared's Tumblr, he was also supposed to be having severe severe medical issues while bedridden in a hospital at the same time, in which he would hallucinate, and he would go into I believe it was psychosis. I could be wrong on that end, but some sort of mental damage. If that's true, if that were the case, then how would he, especially bedridden, be able to participate in Projared's Tumblr? Projared says so himself that he even has no memory of really speaking with this visual all that much. And initially he thought he did, but after he did his own research and found the messages in which he did ask the first Charlie, are you over the age of 18? Charlie said yes. And then, once the controversy happened, Charlie then said he was a minor at the time. And as well, when the first Charlie spread this word around that of what Projared did, the person said it in a tweet. That tweet is now deleted and it cannot be found unless you go to an archive site. So, the first Charlie, there is reasonable doubt that he or she lied to either A, to manipulate Projared in some way, B, to get attention, or C, because of insanity. As for the second Charlie, similar situation, although not as I suppose it serious when it comes to um, claims of being bedridden or hospitalized. With that, and of course, when the second Charlie tweeted out the accusations against Projared, it was up for a while, but then has now been deleted. And of course, Jared within the video goes and tries to see if he even talked to this Charlie, and he has no messages or anything from this second Charlie. So he has absolutely no idea what this second Charlie is talking about. Now, another fact is, and this goes more into his marriage life, which while it is his private business, is unfortunately been spread over the internet, and so we need to clarify a few things. Number one, he was not cheating on his then ex-wife. By the time he was with Holly, he already divorced Heidi, his ex-wife. Number two, Holly has revealed that there was significant, at least mental abuse, that Projared was getting from his ex-wife. She has included tweets about it, and Projared himself shows it in his 40-minute video. At this time, Heidi is defending herself, saying those things are false. So right now, it's not clear of who's telling the truth. But I would also like to note that with the first accusations of Projared being a possible pedophile, not once did Heidi ever defend him. Whatever relationship they had between them, it is not a good one. Not even and it must have been that toxic in which even after they separated, Heidi wasn't going to support Jared and at least trying to prove his innocence in regards to the the photos from minors. So I would consider that into the story. Above all else, Projared in this video has proven to be to a reasonable doubt that all the pedophilia accusations to him are at worst iffy and at best false. He has also stated that while his marriage life was not perfect and he has admitted to making mistakes, that it is his own business. Now I have my own personal opinions about how he conducted his marriage life and some of the decisions he made, especially regarding the Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
However, me saying my personal opinions about it is not gonna mean anything. What he has done, and he will face the consequences, whether good or bad, because of it. So now, and that's a whole summarization. I encourage people to actually go watch the original video, and or actually no, go watch the original video. I know it's long, but you can cut up into segments, and go see for yourself on where you believe Projared is innocent or not. As for me, as HAC, I'm on the I'm on the side of through through that he is innocent of being a being accused of pedophilia. He has proven me to a reasonable doubt uh, that those accusations are baseless. However, that does not mean that I does not mean that that somehow washes away how I feel about him regards into his personal life. Now, Jack,
Yes.
I would like to I would like to ask you this. Before all the things I've told you about, what was your stance on Projared during the controversies?
So here was what I thought. It wasn't. It's not really big because okay, from what I thought was that he might be a pedophile, and that is where I was gonna be pretty much condemning him on. That was the big part. The marriage, the cheating and everything. First of all, from what I've been seeing a lot from both sides is that even from both sides is that yes, it was a divorce, but more of a divorce by words and not by paper. So I still technically count that as cheating because if I'm correct, you need to have both parties to accept the written part of a divorce.
One thing I'd like to mention that within the video he has stated that he attempted many times for to Heidi to confirm the divorce, but she would not allow
And
it.
yes, that part I do know. So from there, I do sympathize in a way that if there is if the other half is literally not wanting to do any sort of divorce papers, then that is a big problem. But as you said, Hack, I had issues with his whole love life in general with the way he was running it. It was doomed to fail with the way he was running his own love life. You and I both agree on that, correct?
I agree.
So again, the whole thing I was really condemning Projared on was the child nudity and the pornography or like the pedophilia part. But as you said, that he has pretty much, as he said in his video, given out the receipts. He had the receipts. I can pretty much say that he is not a pedophile. And even then, I was very skeptical on that part. But the way he pretty much ran everything from his channel to his life around that kind of part, oh, you were just really waiting. You were just literally poking the bear with a stick there. And I do fault him for that. But everything else that happened in his life was very uncalled for. The only reason why I really followed Heidi was to see how far this is gonna go. And she just kept going and going and going. To the point where it's just like, yeesh, this is not looking pretty. But yeah, my stance on Projared is he should have known better than to do some risky sites like that, like a risky idea like that. The whole point of that whole Tumblr thing was for body positivity, but you can't manage your Tumblr like that. You can't manage a page like that. That's very risky, especially as a person that's a celebrity, pretty much.
And as well, I would like to add in a HAC's advice. Now, And this advice I give to all people who are in serious relationships, whether with significant others or in a marriage. And the advice is this. Now, and it is that never and the advice is that never put your desires over the desires and needs of your other. In this case, Jared desired to have a Tumblr in which he could express himself. We could say it that way. And Heidi, who was just as foolish, decided to instead of telling him like straight up, don't do that. No, this is gonna go horrible. She lets it happen. This is a perfect example of when the desires of human basic desires control the relationship. And because of that, Jared is now in a situation where he is now. Excuse me. So, folks, main message from me is that do not put your own personal desires. It doesn't have to be something as extreme as Jared's, but it could be something as financial. So it could be something that's financial. It could be something that's just be for entertainment. It could even be something as simple as the desires of wanting to be alone. Regardless of where the desire is, and especially saying this to the men or to the men of these relationships, that the other spouse or the other significant other comes first before your own. And traditionally, and usually, and generally, I again speak generally, that leads to a more longer sustaining relationship, because then the other will do the same for you. So, I hoping that Jared learned that lesson. He probably did the hard way. And as well, let his story be a warning and a cautionary tale of whenever you ever try to dress as Sailor Mercury on the internet. Okay. Again, don't show off your joysticks, please. Especially in a skirt. Don't
show off joysticks. They look nothing good. It does not bring anyone joy.
Nope.
Until the other party actually says, if you ask them, like, sure, if you're doing dirty talk in text and you ask them and they say yes, go ahead.
You do you, boo boo. You do
but
you.
But
has to be between y'all two. No third party.
But if they don't say anything like show me it, don't show it to them. You know how women, they pretty much keep to themselves because they want to tease the guy sometimes when it comes to the guy they're interested in. Be like that. Be a tease to where you make them want you more. It'll make them want you more.
And that, my friend, is how you successfully play Shin Megami Tensei 4. and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna come to a close on the show. A bit more serious than the past episodes, but hey, some serious is not a bad thing of itself. So, with that said, JAC, what are you gonna be? What Actually, I almost said the wrong question. Jack, what is your music recommendation for the
All
week?
right. So for me, my music recommendation for the week will be. Oh, give me a second. Oh, that scared me. My computer just like turned off completely for a second. All right. So my music recommendation of the week will be. Let's go a little bit more old school. Let's do Michael Jackson. All right. Everyone knows
I'm loving.
Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So this can be. This is. Let me see which specific one I have it on. All right. So this is on the essentials, the essential Michael Jackson album. You can find it on any other album. I forgot what the original album is, but the title of the song is "Remember the Time" by Michael Jackson.
You really do like that song, do
I
you?
do love that song. I love it, even though he's just a butt to every guy. He just goes into a guy's house and steals their girl and then just like leaves.
Hey, that's Michael for you. That's Michael. But still, great recommendation. And as well, check out the music video. It's also just as fun. All right, Jack, and now Jack, what anything new or major you're gonna be playing, watching, and or reading?
All right, so for now, I am for currently I'm gonna be working on the next stream highlights editing. It's taking me a while, mostly because of how I just want to think of the way I want to edit these things. Also, just today, sadly for anyone that wanted to get into the chance of this, but tonight was the last day to pick up your free For Honor game for the PC. So I got that and I'm gonna try to play around it again. Last time I played this game was during closed beta. Hopefully I still enjoy it.
Oh, all right then. And we're gonna go into my side, and here's what I will be And here's how I'll be doing. I am close to finishing Devil May Cry 5. It is still a fun game through and through, so far that game has not been a letdown at all. I will be posting another comic review this this Friday. This Friday of a Batman book, actually very peculiar Batman book that's actually a very uncommon book to find. So actually, Jack, I would like for you to watch it because it's a very interesting Batman book.
To watch
I'll
it or
say it
read it?
that much. I read it.
I will read it.
Oh wait, you were asking if you should you can only read
Yeah,
it
because you
because
you
it's
told
not.
me to watch it.
Oh, sorry, my bad. But yeah, you can only read it. It has not been adapted into anything else, so it's only a comic book story as well. So I'll be doing that. And lastly, if I see it right, did I see it right? No, that's not it. Oh, and and lastly, I am also I am dang it, my computer, don't mess up on me now. Okay, good. I am and as well, I'm also will be playing a new game. I'm still getting the hang of it. It's a puzzle game, and I'll let you guys know more about it. It's a very fun puzzle game, and very interesting. And I'll let you guys. I'll talk about it more in the future. Is anything worth talking? But yes, I'll be doing that as well. I'll keep it a secret for now. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 9 of the HAC Show, and this is HAC saying that you should like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more videos such as this podcast, for my card reviews, and for our coming soon gameplay videos. And as well, to be notified by for any of these videos, please click ring the bell so that you'll know firsthand of when we upload our weekly videos. Thankfully, we're weekly. We have not gotten to the part where we're missing due dates, so you can expect to see at least one video from us every week. With that said, everybody, this is HAC signing off.
See ya, everyone.